उद्धरेदात्मनात्मानं नात्मानमवसादयेत् आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धुः आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः. In the series of understanding Gita Panchamrit, which I tried explaining what is Gita Panchamrit in the last lecture, now we will see into the first of the Gita Panchamrit shlokas. Uddharet Atmanatmanam. Uddharet, uplift yourself. Uddharet meaning uplift. Atmana Atmanam, by oneself, one should lift oneself. Na Atmanam avasadayet. Avasadana means to belittle or look down upon one's own self. Don't ever do that. Because Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu Atmaiva ripuratmanah. The best friend that we have is our own self, and the worst enemy is our own self. Usually, when we look at the experiences that which we have as an individual, we have different kinds of experiences and we conclude to a different mindset, each one with a different mindset. Some say, I wish I could have put the effort only if everybody around me gave that support, or I wish I could have put the effort and my stars were aligned, or I know what I have to do, but I don't know, there are so many compelling factors that stop me from doing what I must. Each one has a different tune or a tone, and we usually attribute our failures to one or more of these mindsets. First and foremost, whether it is in the material world or it is in the spiritual world or in education, any platform, have I committed myself to my own upliftment and well-being? Just like if there is somebody drowning, I can be of some help to that individual provided I know not just swimming but a very good swimmer that I am. Thereby I can get down into those waters and pull that person to safety. But if I am only inspired but do not have that skill myself, I jump in, and instead of saving one, the world population will be reduced by 2 because I will be drowning myself. So if I have to do something considerably a great contribution, whether to myself or to the world around me, I have to commit myself. I have to become the best in that particular field that I am, and the effort should be directed towards it. I cannot be just a mediocre. So the kind of education system that we are in, it says you go through the schooling, go through the education system, and there is some criteria. Different countries, different methods of evaluation have different sets of saying whether you are a failure or whether you have aced that particular exam, so that you can graduate from one level to the other. But the point is, supposing, say in India, we have out of 100, you have to get 35. That's how when I was studying it was. You have to get bare minimum 35 and you pass to the next level. Which means if I get 35, which means about 65% of that particular learning has been a vacuum that I have no idea about. So my efforts towards my own education has been mediocre, not optimal. So when we say Uddharet Atmanatmanam, it should be with that kind of commitment. Where does this commitment come from? The commitment comes from having clarity. In US, I used to joke that just like when there is a congestion, to remove that congestion, we require claritin. Similarly, when our head is clouded, to remove that cloudy, foggy kind of an environment, we require clarity in. So with that clarity, the clearer it becomes, the subtler it becomes. I don't need to search for any motivating force. The inspiration is well lit within. And when it is well lit, I also become humble. Whenever jnana comes, vidya vinayena shobhate. When you are learning in the right direction, it should reflect in our actions as humility. So humility in what context? The humility is when I see myself, I know what are my pluses, I am equally aware of what are my minuses. Both are well understood. The effort that is being put is to transform my negativities, to purge them, to sublimate them, and not carry that burden. To brand myself or frame myself based on my negativities. Recognize them. Work on them to grow out of it. Whether it is lethargy, whether it is inconsistency, whether it is integrity, whatever be the factor. Recognize it. Work on it. Grow out of it. Instead, what we do is, I don't know, I am like this only. I cannot do anything better. Only if my stars aligned and if I was born in a different family, different environment, different opportunity, I would have made it big. We always have to remember the example that is given in the Shruti, which is of the lotus or the lotus leaf. Where does it grow? It grows in the murky, muddy, dirty waters. If you ever have had the opportunity to smell the fragrance, it is much more sweeter, divine and subtler than even the jasmine flower. So that flower which can give the beauty and the fragrance and the nectarine quality of it, it doesn't complain going to Bhagavan saying, you have given me all this potential but you have put me in such a dirty environment, how do you expect me to bring out the best? No complaints. It stays in that same environment, dirty, murky, muddy waters. Takes all that which is required for its sustenance from that very environment. Weeds out all the dirt, takes out the essence and brings out the best without a touch, without an ounce of that murkiness in its presence. Similarly, the inspiration should be that whatever given the environment, that is because of my prarabdha. Now, working through that prarabdha, how do I uplift myself? So, recognize the negativities, work on them. Recognize the positivities and work on perfecting them. So, you become the very hub, the very nodal point of the inspiration, and you don't need to search for it anywhere else. Clarity about my own potential, about my own negativities, about the goal, about the effort that is required, about the consistency that is required, a full comprehensive clarity about all of the above factors that are required for me to put my effort. And never depreciate yourself, your self-worth based on negativities. Who doesn't have those negativities? Everybody has it. But you become a greater, diviner person when you put the effort sincerely to grow out of those negativities and strengthen the positivities. Uddharet atmanatmanam na atmanam avasadayet. Thereby I become atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanaha. If I apply the above said in that kind of a pattern, that once there is clarity, clarity brings in inspiration, inspiration brings in conviction, conviction brings in the strength, the tenacity to go through, repeat again and again in that particular field to become, excel in that particular field. To become great is one thing, to excel in that greatness should be our goal. Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu. But not realizing it, we keep downgrading ourselves every single opportunity and blame everything else around for the kind of environment that we are going through. Then we become our own worst enemies. So let us reevaluate and retune ourselves, rehaul ourselves into this beautiful potential that we are, that we can guide ourselves to that which is the goal of our life, the passion of our life, the purpose of our life. So that is when the first shloka to retune ourselves is understood and applied properly. Hari Om.